Welcome to Nina in the Kitchen, where today I am going to do a request. This was for enchiladas. I thought, it's a great lesson to learn because I think a lot of Americans especially are intimidated by going out to try to buy the peppers that you would use to make the sauce. And canned sauce is just garbage. Sorry whoever makes canned sauces, but it's so simple, and I think that once you see how the sauce is made, you will never even consider buying canned sauce again, and you will have delicious enchiladas in your own home, and it's very easy to do. Even if you don't cook, you can do this. So, I'm using the two most popular chiles in Mexico. This is called an ancho. An ancho means wide, and you can see it's wide across the shoulders. This starts life as a poblano pepper. So if you've ever had chile rellenos, you've had poblano peppers. They are pretty mild. These are both mild on the Scoville scale, which is the heat scale. This is called a Guajillo pepper. This is a little hotter than the ancho. It does have a little spice. Jalapenos are actually higher on the Scoville scale than these are. I'm going to show you what I do with them. I want to show you how they come. These come packaged in cellophane bags, and you can find them in supermarkets, Mexican markets of course, but I'm finding them in every supermarket. This was the biggest ancho that's in this bag. The rest of them are all kind of tiny. That's why I took this out, just so you could see. So you can kind of see how, this is produce, so you have to work with it. And if you want big ancho flavor, then you're going to want to kind of make it up with these little guys. The ancho is, I'm going to say, kind of smoky and mild, a little sweetness. This Guajillo pepper, this one is, I would say, bright. Both of them are delicious, and some companies will actually put where their peppers are in Scoville units so that you can look at the whole display and decide for yourself how hot you want things to be. The other thing I have to tell you is when you buy these peppers, no matter what you're getting, you kind of roll them around, feel the bag, make sure that everything's moving. Once they get stiff, that means they're old. So you want to make sure that everything's flexible. The more flexible it is, the fresher they are. Let me show you just how to store these, and then we'll move on. What I do is I keep them in their bag with the tag so I know what they are. And I just put them in a Ziploc. You can put them in anything that's going to be airtight, but I kind of squeeze the air out of this by rolling it up. Close it up. Now, this can go into your pantry. It can also go into your freezer. They freeze really well. What I do is I rinse these just to sort of knock the dust off of it, if you will, and I just rinse the outside. And then I'll dry them, just pat them dry, which I've already done. Then go into the top, and then I just cut right down the sides. And what's inside are these seeds. Sometimes you'll find veins in here. I'll probably find veins in this one. Just get rid of those seeds. Now you have a choice once you open these up. You can roast them just by heating them in a cast iron pan. You don't have to do that. You don't want to rinse the inside of this because that's where a lot of the flavor is. Now these are pretty flat, but if they weren't, I would tear these up so that they do lay flat, and then I'm going to roast them. Let me show you the Guajillo. You see, this one has veins in it. You don't want to keep the seeds in because they will make the sauce bitter, so you just get rid of those. The veins can also, if they're really white, they can also add bitterness to the sauce, so I would get rid of those. You see, you get underneath the vein and just pull it, just like that. I'm going to put a little toast on 2 cloves of garlic. It's already gotten soft. I've had them in here for a little while. You can see this one's starting to turn. That's just what I want. I'm going to take the skins off, and once the skins are removed, that can go right into our sauce in a dry pan. You just make sure your strips are flat I put the skin side down. I don't know if you can see how, you see these are starting to blister when you press them. It happens really quickly, and that's really all that you need to do. So they turn a lighter color, and that's how you know they're done. So what I've done is I've taken the skin off of the garlic, and you can see it's toasted and it's soft. That goes in. I broke all of these pieces up. You just tear them, very easy. Hot tap water. All you need to do is cover this. You don't want boiling water on this because it's a little too aggressive and you end up getting bitter notes from it. So just hot water works beautifully. 20 to 30 minutes, put something on top just to make sure they stay submerged. That's it. I'll see you in, we'll go 25 minutes and see how it looks. See you then. The chili peppers have hydrated. I'll show you that in a moment. But first I want to drain these onions. And the reason for rinsing that onion is, you know, onions can have a bite sometimes, and this is basically going into a raw sauce, so I don't want to taste that. That's what gives you onion breath. It's okay, I mean, some people like that, but I don't really want it. So I'm going to strain this. I wanted about 2 cups of water because you want enough sauce so that you can sauce the enchiladas, the meat, and have a little on the side. If you need to water it down a little bit, go ahead and do that. So the peppers go in along with, I have black pepper. I'm putting in about half a teaspoon. This is a little bit of cumin. That's about a half teaspoon. And let me just throw a little bit of salt in there. And some of this water. I'm holding back half a cup. This was about 2 minutes. Let's see what we have. That's pretty perfect, actually. You see, it's not very soupy. I'm not seeing any skin at all. So let me just take a taste. I think a little more salt. Otherwise, this is very nice. And remember, this is a sauce, so it's going onto something. And you're not going to get the taste that you want in the dish in here. Just remember what you're putting it on. And this is nice and smooth, so, but taste it. If you have skin in here, if it bothers you, then run it through a sieve. When I make something like this, for example, I'm using chicken today, I always think, what else can I put in there? What do I have as leftovers? You could use sausage. If you have like a kielbasa or some sort of smoked sausage, that would be delicious. Here's what I found in my fridge. I have some roasted red pepper, some onion. I don't know what I used it for, but it smells so good. So I'm going to add that to the chicken. I love finding leftovers and finding different ways to present them because I probably used this in an egg dish, maybe a quiche. And now, you know, here you are using just that little bit that I left over and I'm making a completely different dish. I love that. And I'm also going to throw in some spinach. And the final addition that I'm going to make is queso fresco, which is a crumbly cheese. It's a crumbly Mexican cheese. There's different brands, of course. It's very mild if you haven't ever tasted it. And you see it crumbles. It doesn't melt, but it's a great addition to a dish like this. It's classic for enchiladas, actually. A couple of things I should mention. One is do not throw your chili water out. You may end up needing it to thin the sauce out a little bit, or, you know, remember this goes into an oven to bake. So it's going to dehydrate. If you think your sauce is maybe a little too thick, you want to thin it out with this. Also, you can stretch your sauce out if you think you're not going to have enough. So what I've done is I mixed some sauce in with the filling, and I'm going to put some in the bottom of this pan. Kind of like a lasagna, you need a little bit of moisture in order to get your lasagna out. And it's the same with this. You want just a little bit of sauce at the bottom. The traditional way to make enchiladas is to dip your tortilla, and by the way, you want a thicker tortilla rather than a thinner corn tortilla. You're supposed to dip it into your sauce and then put it in your pan, which has fat in it. Any oil that's tasteless is fine to use. I'm using avocado oil today. The problem with doing it that way is that there is a spattered mess all over your kitchen. So I don't do that any longer. This is what I do. Much cleaner, it's much easier. I just put the corn tortilla right into a pan, and as soon as it sizzles, you can just flip it over. Then this side will start to kind of blow up and blister, and when it does, that's when I take it out, put it into my serving dish, or into the baking dish, I should say. And you can make as many or as few of these as you want. So the idea of putting it in here, into the pan, is to kind of roast these chilies, but that's going to happen in the oven anyway. So I think this is a really good alternative to messing up your kitchen. Oh, let me use this. You don't need as much filling as you probably think you do. And you can always undo this and put more in if you don't think you've done enough. But you want enough to flip it over once and then twice, and your seam is on the bottom. I'm just going to, I'll do another one for you and then just continue on. This goes into a 350 oven, a moderate oven, for probably 20 or 30 minutes. Really, all you have to do, if you're making these right away, is to just heat them through. Once they're heated through, you're good to go. Oh, this smells so good. Okay, so I'll see you when they come out of the oven. This is the pan that went in when I showed you, but I made it in a second pan too, so here's what it looks like plated. Now, other garnishes that people use, and they're wonderful, is cabbage, very finely sliced cabbage with a little lime on it. And sour cream is always welcome. You don't need salsa, but you may want to put a little more sauce on it. So let me taste this for you. And you know, this may not look like a lot to you, but 3 of these is plenty of food. I find them to be rather rich, actually. It's really good. It's amazing that when that sauce hits a corn tortilla, and whatever filling you have in it, it just makes it into the whole enchilada. Pardon the pun, but it is delicious. I hope you try this. If you do, let me know, or if you have any questions, again, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.